1940, they were not accepting men of colour into the Royal Air Force. A good friend of mine, Sidney Kennard, whose father was an Englishman and his mother was a West Indian lady, he had a pilot's license because they were wealthy, and he'd got one in America. He actually applied, came to England in 1940 to join the Royal Air Force. A very handsome, light-skinned Guyanese, and they turned him down. But when things got bad, of course, they get turned to the colonies. And I was one of the first 4 from Guyana to volunteer.
When I was 18, I passed to go to America to work on the farm or in the factories. I also took the test for the Royal Air Force, and I passed the test. And my mother said to me, "My son, the mother country is at war. Go and help. If you live, it will be a good thing." So I came and served in the Royal Air Force because at that time, most West Indians thought it was a good thing, and I still think it was a good thing. The mother country was at war, and she could not beat Nazi Germany on her own.
It was about halfway through that I actually joined, because when I asked my other friends what to do, they say, "Oh, I volunteered, and what about Billy? He's volunteered as well. What about Simon? He volunteered as well." So I said, "Oh heck, I'm the odd one out here." So the next day, the first chance I went in and I signed on. I didn't want to be left out, you know. So we all came over because at that age, 18, 19, 20, we felt invincible. Nothing can touch us, you know. We'll come over here and we'll give Hitler the hell.
One day, my daddy's paper was laying about, so I took it and began to read. And I came across his advert that the RAF would be in town, at the town hall, and they're recruiting men for the RAF. So I said, here is my opportunity. So I said to my dad, this is what I've just read in the papers, that the RAF is recruiting men for England to join the RAF. So we had a talk about it, and he said, "Son, if that's what you want, go for it." And I got down there as fast as I could run, and signed the necessary forms and did the necessary tests, and I passed, and then I signed on the dotted line.
In my case, I was going to school then. And then they asked for volunteers to join the Air Force. And a lot of us boys volunteered. Now, I volunteered going by what my father used to say, speak. And say, you see, it sounded excited in those days and so on. And I volunteered with several others. But in the end, only 21 of us were accepted.
Well, just when the war started in 1939-45, we were just out of college and there wasn't much prospective in view. So at the time they were asking for volunteers for the Navy, and I decided to join the Navy. And I did a stint there from 1941 until 1944, and then I transferred to the RAF that were asking for volunteers for the Air Sea Rescue Service.
I was looking for adventure. I've always wanted to travel from a little girl, and I was brought up by my grandfather and my grandmother, and he used to tell me to study hard and travel. So all my school days spent studying and yearning to travel. So when the opportunity came along to join the ATS, although I feared it would be dangerous, I had no hesitation in volunteering.
But a friend of mine that we brought up together, he was working at the Daily Chronicle, at the local newspaper, and he came home in '43 and said to me, the RAF is advertising for people from the colonies to volunteer to go and join and help Britain in the war. And I'm thinking of going, would you come? And because we'd always been together, I thought that was good. If he was going to go and I'd accompany, I'd go. So he brought the application form and we applied to join, to volunteer to go to the Royal Air Force.
This is myself in the Royal Air Force in 1944 in England.
My reason was the reason that was typical of all the reasons anyone would give you, but they're not to tell you the truth, is to get away from Jamaica, go abroad. And that was the basic reason. We first of all thought that anything abroad is better than what we have at home. No job prospect, no money, because when you have a 10 shillings in those days, it was a lot of money. We thought if you come abroad, you have all the opportunities to educate yourself properly, to work big money, so on, and to see the outer world.
June the 1st, 1944, Liverpool. And then from there, we were put on a train to Filey, where we did our initial training. And then after that, after 6 or 7 weeks, we were split up in groups and sent into different parts of England.
Having joined the Royal Air Force, you had to do square bashing, learn to walk up and down and drill and take the civil mentality out of you into military. You're told to go, you go, and you're told to come, you come. I arrived in Filey, which is in Yorkshire, in November, 9th of November, 1944. I trained for square bashing. Then I went to RAF Hawkins near Folkestone. And from there, I learned engineering. Now, the old-time aircrafts, which is propeller-driven, if they stop, you can ring me, man, even today, and we get it going. Not jets. I know nothing about jets. And I was proud to be British, having served with men from Norway to the Sudan. And we felt that we had to work together to survive. Of course, food was rationed. A lot of people don't really realize that. And I have been hungry, not starving, during the war.
First of all, we went to Butlin camps in Filey. This is where we had our initial training, learning about different guns and how to use different ammunitions and different exercise and different drill, combating exercise and all of that, defense exercises and things like that. We spent about another 2 months there, I think it was. We had 2 wings there, as a matter of fact, from the West Indies, and we had to have a certain amount of backup from the Royal Air Force Regiment, who were there to give us certain information about various ornaments and things like that.
A typical day, it depends, we had very different duties. You're on air rescue duty. Sometimes you're on player parts. That's mostly night duties. You got to hurriedly put these things so that the plane, you make a channel for the seaplanes. Actually, we were involved with Sunderland flying boats and Catalinas. That were the 2 planes that we were involved in. And sometimes you have maintenance, that you run a taxi service, carrying the crews aboard the plane, carrying the engineers, and then you have your boat duty now, your rescue. You sit there in the hut waiting for the call.
I was a medical secretary for the 10 years that I was in the army, and I was employed at the British Military Hospital in Up Park Camp, which was good because I got to know practically everybody, because at some time or the other, everybody got ill.
I was working in the treatment room, giving out the patients when treatment, you see, from just like a nurse and a doctor. The doctor sent you, give you the list of things that you should do, and then you have to serve it to the people then when they came in.
I learned to do spray painting for a start. Parachute and dinghy repairs and packing, and other repairs on the boat itself. But that, like say for instance, if a plane is smashed or anything like that, we have to be able to repair the nose or part, whatever part of it is. Try and patch it up as best they can so you can use it again.